Just imagine Jim running a touchdown back with dreadlocks.
That would be a sight to see.
That's
Sorry,
great.
I lost it there for a second. Welcome to My God, a Podcast. I'm Jim Wood. In this episode, John Powell and I preview Georgia's 2023 season opener against UT Martin. We talk through what we're looking for in the game, and we answer questions from you, our listeners. As always, remember to check out the newly redesigned MyGodAPodcast.com to see our latest merch, and you can follow us on social media at MyGodAPodcast. Finally, we'd love for you to check out our presenting sponsor, Oxia Time, at OxiaTime.com. That's AXIATIME.com. Now, let's join the conversation in progress. Here for the UT Martin preview. The quest for the three-peat begins. John,
Yes.
are you
We're
ready?
back. We're back.
Right.
Three-peat engage.
Three-peat engage. Better never rests. Which is now, that is like the official thing. We, dear listener, we had Greg Fawcett on after Greg took me to the Charlotte Touchdown Club event. And when we heard Kirby speak back in the spring and we heard about that and shared that here. So, we gave, the listeners early look at what the 2023 team slogan was going to be. So
we broke the news. We broke the news that it was better never rests.
That's right. That's right. And I brought the Angels Envy with me this evening. I don't know, no specific reason. We're number one, going for the three-peat. Everybody envies us, so we go with the Angels Envy.
We're the envy of Bama fans everywhere.
Yeah, even Marler.
So, man, it feels kind of surreal coming off of just got back from Denver with Carter, and I don't know. I have yet to like kind of catch back up to reality, and it's like, oh wow, we've not only do we have to record, but we also have the game this weekend.
Okay, so like full disclosure, like I think it was yesterday, I sat down and I was trying to put together like generally what we usually have together, to talk through. And I was like, oh man, I haven't done this in a long time. I forgot what to do. And I was like, wait, do I need to pull anything? Do we need any, stats or whatever? It was pretty funny. So I scrambled a bit and did that last night. So, your travels actually helped me, gave me like some extra time to remember what the heck I do on a week-to-week basis. And so, now going forward though, I'll be better.
That's right. We have, we're recording a few days later than normal.
Yes. Because of the travels. So,
yep.
I mean, we got some questions about the trip. So I don't know if you want to table the trip.
We did? I don't know.
Multiple questions. People want to know.
Okay.
So do we want to talk about it when they've asked?
The people want to know. I guess that is kind of our trend, right? We talk about like personal stuff and then we get into the game.
It's like, wait, how do we do this?
Normally, when the last few weeks we've had guests on, so it's like, oh wait, how do we do this again?
Yeah. Last week was a struggle because there was no one else to talk to except for the two of us. It felt kind of funny, but we get back into it. You just always gotta.
Oh my God!
Oh, see, and now I can't even do it right.
Trying to put glasses on it.
So we say there's a conversation going on, and there was, and we had just started talking about that. So I believe it was John Michael D who made a joke one time, like, because somebody tweeted, like, I think the tweet was
Robert Beal,
and somebody else said, like I heard that tweet or something, and I think John Michael D was like, but did you hear Jim shuffling to try to find the soundboard before it played? Which is like one of the funniest things. So that's where our conversation, that's why I brought that up, John. So I've discovered how to do hotkeys with it. So in theory, I don't have to search for it. However, I do have to hit the right hotkey and then I hit the wrong thing.
You need an actual soundboard with like the buttons on it or whatever.
Right. right. It's on my keyboard. I have to. They're named. I can look at the screen. So yeah, I fumbled it. So I still can't get it right. That's okay.
Hey, you're getting better. You're getting better.
That's right.
You have a better soundboard, and you're going to get better with using it.
Yes, and better never rest. So we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've got the UT Martin Skyhawks, huh?
Yeah. The Skyhawks. Why don't I guess I can run down the matchup. So we got Saturday, September 2nd, 6 p.m. At Dooley Field at Sanford Stadium. Let's see records. So Georgia coming in off of a 15-0 campaign from last year. UT Martin was 7-4 last year, but they were 5-0 in their conference. So they are out of the Ohio Valley Conference. I believe they're reigning conference champs. John, do you know how many times we played UT Martin?
Ooh, I don't know that I do, actually.
There's a reason.
What do you mean there's a reason?
There's a reason you don't know.
We've never played them?
Because we never played them.
Wait, really? I feel like we had played them in the past.
That's what I thought too. I could have
sworn that we had played.
I was like, that can't be right. That can't be right.
Why does it sound so familiar then? Is it because everybody else has played them?
I guess I know like Tennessee played them last year. So I don't know. Seems kind of weird. But
okay.
Unless the official game notes are wrong. I
mean, I guess that I did have trouble looking at that in my Know Your Foes kind of section. But I feel like I didn't come across that particular nugget that we had never played them, which is kind of weird.
Yeah. Never played them before. Dogs coming in, unanimous number one team, meeting across polls. So this game is not technically it's not on TV. It is on the ESPN Plus / SEC Network Plus. So this is the annual streaming game. But I know I saw this come up on the Dog Central forum. Don't feel like you have to subscribe to ESPN Plus to get this game. If you have cable, if you have like satellite, if you have a streaming service and you have access to SEC Network, just log in to ESPN.com with your with your cable, your TV provider, log in and you can watch the game. You don't have to have ESPN Plus to watch this. So just a little pro tip there if you're watching at home.
Yeah, unless you're a poor sap parent like I am, then you have ESPN Plus through the Disney Plus bundle.
I have that.
Then you're double covered.
True. Let's see. The official hashtag that we will not use when we tweet on Saturday is hashtag UTMVSUGA. And if you want to catch a rebroadcast, it will come on again on SEC Network on September 5th at 11 a.m. And then last thing, the weather looks great, actually. So low of 62, high of 84 for the day. I don't know exactly what it'll be, but with a 6 o'clock kickoff, hopefully it won't be quite as brutal on a early September Saturday. So definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, that 6 o'clock game time is nice. Normally this would be like a nooner, I feel like.
Yes. Yeah. And like the opening game of the year, nooners at home are those are no good.
Particularly brutal.
Yes, they're super bad. So hot. So yeah, so I am thankful. I know there's been a lot of jokes about, oh, we finally get a night game and it's UT Martin. So like agreed, but let's also consider the time of year it is, and I'm just happy for the weather factor. So, which I'll be there. We are going. I don't know who all from our family is going, but I'll be there. Lily says she wants to go, so we'll see if that holds true through Saturday. But I'll be up there. 51-7 GATA. Coach Trill, come by and say hi.
I unfortunately will not be there. My daughter is going to the mountains for her 16th birthday celebration. She's not turning 16 yet. We share the same birthday, if you don't remember. And our birthday is September 8th. But she is celebrating her 16th birthday this weekend with my wife and her aunt, and a bunch of her little girlfriends are going to the mountains for her birthday celebration.
Got it. Okay.
So I'll be home with the kids,
Okay. So you're holding down the fort with everybody else.
holding down the fort with the rest of the folks. Plus, I just got back from my own trip with Carter. So
Very cool. Very cool. Well, you guys had the same birthday, not unlike how Carter and my wife, Kim, have the same birthday, which like, I don't know if we've ever figured this out before, but we definitely figured it out tonight.
we did figure it out tonight.
I'm sure we figured it out before we forgot. Someone's probably throwing their podcast player of choice away. Like, you guys talk about this every year. God, what is your problem?
It's an annual tradition.
Oh man, too funny. Well, John, I don't know. You said you were doing some faux research last year. You hit us with the fun facts. I don't know. Are we doing fun facts again? Do you have fun facts?
We can do some fun facts. Yeah, we got it.
Okay.
I've got a few fun facts.
Okay.
To be perfectly transparent and with apologies to UT Martin, it doesn't really seem like that there's all that much interesting, like in the way of like truly fun facts. But what I will say is that UT Martin was the kind of, I guess, came about. The reason it's called UT Martin is because the original school was opened as the Hall Moody Institute, which was named for a couple of Baptist ministers that I guess founded the school long ago, back in 1900. But UT Martin basically started officially in 1927, but like that's how old they are, which was kind of surprising to me. But I guess that they were the Baptist, the Tennessee Baptist Convention kind of decided that they were going to shut the school down, and locals decided that they were going to save it, and basically put up the money to do so. And they were going to basically become part of the University of Tennessee system. And interestingly, the governor and all those people, they basically didn't think that they were going to do it. They weren't going to be able to muster up the money. And basically the political and civic leaders in the state of Tennessee, like they didn't want to lose that university. And so I guess they mustered up enough money and were able to get it into a place where they could bring it into the UT system. And interestingly, I guess this is kind of fun. You're familiar with Austin Peay?
Yes. We have played them.
We have played them. Yeah, I did know that because apparently that school is named after a governor, Governor Austin Peay, and Austin Peay actually signed them into like an official school in 1927. So that was kind of fun. A couple of famous alumni that you are probably aware of that you didn't know. Pat Summitt is an alumnus of UT Martin.
Oh, I had no idea.
And your mileage may vary on how you feel about this person, but Van Jones, CNN noted contributor, is also a graduate of UT Martin. And it basically goes downhill from there, from the chances that anybody listed as a quote unquote famous alumnus. So I think that those are their two most famous prominent alumnus.
Got it.
Couple other things. Let's see here. Their head coach has been around for quite a while. Jason Simpson. He's been at the head coach at UT Martin since 2006, which is kind of wild in this day and age, I feel like.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, the guy's been around forever. But interestingly, his son Ty Simpson is a quarterback recruit for the class of 22, and I guess that he signed for Alabama. So maybe we'll see his son in a future game. Nice. Let's see, what else do we got here? Their mascot. Their mascot is the Skyhawk.
Yes.
Which is also, incidentally, isn't that it's like one of the old mascots for the Atlanta Hawks, right?
Isn't that like the version of the hawk that like dunks? is the Skyhawk.
I'm not sure. I couldn't reference any pictures or anything like that, but like, yeah, like apparently the Skyhawk was the name of one of the old mascots for the Hawks. I guess that he stopped showing up to games at some point because he tore his ACL. But anyway,
I'm pretty sure he was. Now we've gone off the rails about the Hawks. I'm pretty sure he was the one to like jump off the trampoline in Wood Dunk or something.
Yeah, that would be my guess. But yeah, that's what I thought. So that was kind of a fun fact. The other thing was, I think that again, this was me like scrounging. I feel like that the Skyhawk was like an old name for preachers back in the day. And so like that was like a nickname for preachers. And since it was kind of founded from Baptist origins, I think that the Skyhawk is kind of relevant. Also, the hawk is pretty prominent in that section of Tennessee as well.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. We'll roll with that.
We're gonna roll with that. Yeah.
Well, I like it. I like that JP's. And sorry, not to cut you off, but I'm just glad that JP's fun facts are back.
The JP's fun facts are definitely going to always be around. Although I feel like I'm going to have to like, I don't know, bank on people not remembering previous.
I was thinking about that on like the common opponents that we play every year. We may have to pivot and do something a little different. Maybe we'll see.
Right.
Come South Carolina week. Maybe we'll mix it up a little bit.
Exactly.
Nice. All right. Let's see. If you're good, we can hit the news and notes. I had a couple of alumnus notes that I wanted to hit on before we get into the game. Two things from the NFL. So one, the mailman, Stetson Bennett, made the Rams roster. He's the only quarterback on the roster other than Matt Stafford. So he is the Rams backup quarterback. So congrats to Stetson. Pretty cool, especially for a guy who everyone said was going to be selling insurance around now. So congrats to Stetson. And then also, John, the official receiver of My Guide Podcast, Kearis Jackson, is officially a Tennessee Titan. He made the roster. Pretty awesome. Super stoked for the official Kearis. Congrats, Brady.
Yes. Never doubt Kearis.
Never doubt. I never doubted that he'd make the roster. So just to throw it out there.
Yeah. I mean, he was going to make a roster, obviously.
All right. So as far as Kirby's press conference goes this week, my note that I jotted down was everybody hurt. So like
everybody is hurt, particularly in the running back room.
So I'm going to run down the list, courtesy of Jason Brazel that he posted on Dog Central. So we've got Branson Robinson out for the season with a patella tendon tear. Lawson Lucky is out with an ankle injury. Ernest Green is probable with an ankle. Tyrion Ingram Dawkins is probable with a foot injury. Ladd is probable with a back issue. Smile Munden is questionable with his foot. David Daniel Sisavon is questionable with the dreaded turf toe, which is a frequent topic of My Guide Podcast. Kendall Milton, questionable with a hamstring. Dejan, questionable with an MCL sprain. Kamari Lassiter, questionable with a foot. Jackson Meeks, questionable with a foot. Denali Morissette, questionable with a groin. Raylan Wilson, doubtful with a knee. Jonel Aguero, doubtful with a hamstring. And Chris Peel, doubtful with turf toe. And that probably took up way too much time. But that's how much we're dealing with. I started to say something earlier about like it's kind of weird for me, like coming into a season with a game like this. This is the first time we've had a season opener since we've been doing this podcast, John, where we're not playing a major opponent. We had Arkansas in year 1 of My Guide Podcast. We had Clemson in year 2, and then we had Oregon in year 3. So since we've been doing this, we've been opened with a pretty big opponent. At least Power 5. So This is a bit different for us. So, but when you look at that injury report, not a bad thing.
That we're playing somebody like UT Martin.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, I think that obviously the long term, the biggest area of concern is that running back room. At least
Yeah.
from my perspective. I mean, you got three of our best options at running back currently. So, but that said, I'm here for the cash. I'm here for the cash money records. Jones, Heisman, Heisman run here.
Yes.
So
Yes.
selfishly, I hope that Cash just has a breakout game and we get to see the Pocahontas gifts from Trigger Trey early and often.
Shout out to TT7. Oh man, it's coming. He's already got it loaded up in the drafts. He's ready for it. All right. Well, why don't we? Oh, actually, sorry. Two things. So from what I did gather from Kirby's press conference, the only other things I had jotted down. Trey Scott got his coaching start there, and then also Kirby does have a lot of respect for UT Martin. So, in case you didn't know, a lot of respect. Yeah. All right, in the game. So, why don't we run through this? So, John, we can start with the offense. What are we looking for when Georgia has the ball? One note, you can go check it out on Dog Central. Alex Smith wrote up a nice preview for the game. One of the things for him calling out Dalen Dotson is a defensive end for UT Martin. He was all Ohio Valley Conference first team last year. He was an FCS All-American second team last year. He had 48 tackles, 9.5 sacks, and 15 QB hurries. So, and again, remember, this is I said they're in the Ohio Valley Conference, but reminder, they're a FCS team, or as what we used to say as Division I AA. I guess we say FCS these days, but they're a 1 AA team. So they're playing up to come to San Francisco and play us.
Right. Yeah, there's a couple other players as well. Gavin Olson. He was also an FCS All-American second team player as well.
He's on their offense.
Oh, we're talking about the defense. My bad.
You're good. We're talking about when we've got the ball.
Got it.
Yeah, so Georgia's offense. So I think too, I did see they play a 3-man front. I don't know exactly how they line up. I'm not going to act like I did all kinds of analysis on that, but it sounded like they do something a little different, which just makes me think TCU, which makes me kind of drool. So I don't know. I mean, what are we watching for on offense? I know you hit on the running back room is light, but what are you going to be looking for from our offense against their defense?
Running the ball early and often is really what I'm going to be looking for. I mean, we've got the injured running back room, but we've got one of the best offensive lines in college football, right? Mm-hmm. So we shouldn't have any trouble moving the ball on the ground against this lesser opponent. Yeah. I mean, heck, the pass happy offense from Tennessee last year when they played UT Martin, they ran for 200 something yards on like 46 carries, I think. So I think that we'll be looking for them to be running the ball quite a bit, even with the depleted running back force. Now, that said, we could come in there with that kind of game plan that we're going to try to, run Cash Jones and company into oblivion. But, there could be, I mean, like I said, the biggest concern that I have on this team is the running back room in general for the season. Yeah. And this will be the first indication of what will happen if we can't get that running game going. If they can't get it going with a lesser opponent like this, that could open up a lot of areas for concern moving forward. Now, if we're able to counter that with being able to open things up with the passing game, each step of the way, that'll make me feel better, obviously. But that's what I'll be looking for. Can you move the ball with the amazing offensive line that we have?
How's your relationship with Stacey Searles right now, John?
We're currently good. We're boys. I ate all the crow last season. I gave a shout out to Stacey after the Tennessee game. So we're good right now, man. We're good. Okay. Just hope that we don't have I don't know. Do we have any midget quarterback or midget running backs that can run up the gut? and really give us a moment of pause for both Stacey Searles and Bobo.
Yeah, I know. You were saying when you were talking about how you wanted to see us run the ball. I was waiting for you to say "run the dang ball, Bobo," because that's what you want to see happen. So
Run the dang ball. I believe. Am I wearing that hat? I think I am.
You are wearing that hat. I can see it. I can see that.
Dang ball. Yeah. I put on the hat and I didn't even look what I had on.
Amazing.
I do have my home field tree shirt on though.
The nice tree shirt. Yeah, you can use code Dog Central 23, by the way. Get a 20% off at your first order of home field apparel. Drop that little nugget there. Shout out to Dog Central.
Yes, the tree that owns itself.
Nice. So I guess that's definitely what I'm going to be watching for. In games like this, I'm always curious to see what the offensive line does, right? Like, are we going to truly dominate an opponent like this? Because I feel like sometimes it'll be like, why aren't we just running the ball, all over them, right? And like, what's going on with the offensive line? So I'm hoping that we'll see that kind of domination from the line, and then obviously, right? I mean, first career start for Carson Beck. You don't know how much we're going to air it out in a game like this, but I kind of feel like Bobo's going to throw him a bone or throw him a few bones and let him air it out a bit. So I'd love to see that get off to a fast start with Carson, throwing to the usual suspects like Brock and Ladd permitting. But I want to see what Dominic Lovett looks like is from a newcomer perspective, and then see if we get any of these young receivers in there. So I'll be watching for that as well. But in general, looking for domination and lots of reps from some of the young guys.
Yeah, like I said, I think that the running back room, can we answer that out of the gate? But yes, I do think that there is an element of we just need to get Carson Beck, comfortable, right? Like, yeah, yes. I wouldn't be upset to see us throw the ball around too. Establish the run, open up the pass, like basically, that's kind of been the. I hate to say it, and it might trigger some folks, but that's kind of been Bobo's thing, right? Like, you run the ball and open up the pass, right?
Balance.
He
loves balance.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. All right, we good with the offense? Or is there more you got?
The only other thing that I had on that was, people, we have Brock Bowers on an all-American watch list, the Mackey Award, right? And
the Biletnikoff.
The Biletnikoff, yeah, that's what I was looking for. So how is he able to pick up where he left off, kind of thing. Also, I'm excited to see Lovett in the wide receiver position as well. I think he had some pretty crazy numbers from the slot, if I recall from my Dog Central bulletin board posts. But yeah, Dominic Lovett is going to be a person that I'm personally excited to see kind of blossom at UGA, right? Like we lost AD Mitchell, so I'm hoping that we'll have a new reliable Mr. X factor receiver that is going to show up and give us those clutch catches, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Arian Smith from the wide receiver position would be another one. This is the first year I feel like that, right? This is his first year where he's been completely healthy coming out of fall camp. True
statement.
So it's one of those things where it's like, I'd like to see someone other than Ladd show up. Although, I guess to a certain point, you've got a new quarterback. Ladd was always Stetson's kind of go-to. He was like the Tom Brady to, Danny Amendola or whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
He was like the go-to receiver, right? Who's that other receiver that he always threw to? I can't remember that other guy's name. Edelman. Yeah. Edelman. Yeah. That was his Edelman, right? So, can Carson Beck and Ladd, kind of make that connection as well? So those are some things that I'll be looking for.
Okay. Nice. I like it. Well, one thing before we move on to the defense, John, we talked to our friend John Canaris at Oxia Time, and we've all decided to run it back. So definitely excited to announce that just like season 3 of My God a Podcast, season 4 is presented by Oxia Time. So, last year they came out with the Georgia CFP National Championship Watch Collection. The collection has grown. So there are now multiple 2022 CFP champion watches. You can get the Blackout watch exclusively at collegefootballplayoff.com. For everything else, you can head over to axiatime.com. That's AXIATIME.com. Be sure to use the code MyGottaPodcast at checkout. If you buy any of these Georgia watches, we've got something pretty cool set up with Oxia Time. So there is a custom presentation box that they put together for all the Georgia watches. If you enter the code MyGottaPodcast at checkout, you'll get an email after your purchase, and you will get one of those custom presentation boxes included with your watch. So when it's not on your wrist, you have a pretty sweet box to display it in your home. One of the things definitely want to call out that's also very cool for this year is a portion of the proceeds of all of the Georgia watches that are purchased from Oxia Time are going to Bulldogs battling breast cancer. So we've had our buddy Dwight on the podcast before. Really excited that Bulldogs battling breast cancer has teamed up with Oxia Time as well. So again, head over to axiatime.com. That's AXIATIME.com. We are super excited to run it back.
Yes.
Let's go. I got mine on tonight. I got there's multiple straps. I've gone with the
You're locked in. You're locked in on the performance strap.
I love it. I love it, man. Yeah, I like it. I think I'm gonna wear it this way to the game on Saturday. So
I like it. I like it. I like the formal look of the metal band.
Yes,
because I do have the performance. I do have a performance watch tracker for my runs and hikes and stuff to connect to Strava and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I like the formalness of the metal band myself.
Yeah, I just you can go back and forth. You can switch it up. So
right.
But we're excited. We got some more stuff coming throughout the season through our partnership with Oxia. So be on the lookout for that. We're pretty excited. So shout out to Oxia Time. All right, John, let's talk about the defense. When I guess our defense, their offense, when UT Martin has the ball, and I think they've got some players you wanted to call to watch out for, right?
Oh yeah, they had another FCS All-American. Gavin Olson was an offensive tackle that he had, and then DJ Nelson was another. He's a freshman All-American, FCS freshman All-American. DJ Nelson from the tight end position. He's one of their guys, and I think that that's one of those examples where the players that have in the past, I guess is what I should say, but it'll be something to watch this season. But the tight end, if you have an athletic and an accomplished tight end, that can be a way that you can find some holes in this defense historically. Not many options to find based on our track record along the defensive front, but that's definitely an opportunity for them to have some glimmer of hope. But let's be honest, this shouldn't even be close, right?
Yeah. Yep. I mean, look, John, in season 1 of My God Podcast, our mantra was in the defense we trust, right? And last I checked, Kirby Smart was still here. He was still the head coach. I expect that to continue. I think from what I've been reading and what people have been kind of questioning, I feel the position group that seems to be questioned the most is really on the defensive line and then the edge rushers. So I would love to see those guys cut loose against this lesser opponent. Now we're going to be running very vanilla packages on both sides of the ball, I would assume, but just from sheer athletic ability, we're going to be bigger, faster, and stronger than these guys. So I'd really love to see our defensive linemen get off to a head start. Because we talked about it a little bit in the season preview, but a lot of the big names are gone. We don't have the flashy names, but we've got a lot of experience coming back, and these guys have played a lot of football for Georgia. So again, I'm excited to see them. I'm excited to see them shine. So Zion Lowe, Tramel Wathauer, Nazir Stackhouse, these guys. I want to see. Let's see what they do in this starting role. So I'm excited to look out for that.
Yeah, I personally am really, really rooting for Nazir Stackhouse to kind of step up and be that Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter type guy.
Yeah.
I say that selfishly because to be perfectly transparent, I don't know which one of those players is like the most like physically gifted. But Nazir Stackhouse played in pretty much I think he played in more games than Jalen Carter did last year, or had more snaps. He was a big cog in that machine of the defensive line. I also think he's an amazing TikTok follow. So he just seems like a good dude. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I don't know. I enjoy it. So one thing that he will hopefully be tracking down early and often is a new quarterback for UT Martin as well. They are breaking in an Ole Miss transfer.
That's right.
Kincaid or I don't know. I don't know how you say his name. Dent. Ole Miss transfer Dent, who played 17 games in his career. I guess he only saw 19 snaps last year. And he had a lower grade than their quarterback that they just had, Drescher Wynn. So I guess it's technically on paper, it appears to be a downgrade at the quarterback position. But this is a team that had been used to throwing the ball around. They put up 300 yards on Tennessee, which again is probably not saying a whole lot last year. But I think that breaking in a new quarterback is always interesting, and the fact that they have an SEC transfer that could certainly play into the equation here. Maybe he's a good player for the team there, but just wasn't right for Ole Miss, right? So, so a new quarterback is going to be interesting as well. So we've got two new quarterbacks for both of these schools, both of them SEC caliber.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, on that note of them airing the ball out and trying to throw the ball. So it's sounding like Julian Humphrey is going to be the starting corner opposite of Kamari Lassiter. I believe that's what we're hearing, right, John?
Say again?
For the starting corner opposite Kamari, I think Julian Humphrey is what we've been hearing, right?
Julian Humphrey, yeah. That's it seems to be, because I feel like that I think Graham and those guys were talking about how in at the Dog Central Forum, I mean, he had been taking the lion's share of one's reps, right?
Yeah. So that's another thing to watch out for, right? I mean, how's he react? See how that goes. I mean, Kamari like really came into his own last year, and so that's been the question: is who's going to be opposite him? So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see who trots out there with the starters, right? Who's out there with the first team? We'll see if it's Julian or not. I know, like, listed on Aguero is someone I've been excited to see. I know he was listed on the in the extensive injured list. So we'll see. Hopefully wait to see his debut. But
did he get a hopeful kiss of death?
See, this is the problem with me not like listening to the entire press conference this week like I usually do. I don't know. I have the list, but I don't know if I'm sure Kirby was hopeful to get all of them back. Oh man.
Yeah. Who's going to step up on this defense and be the quarterback, right? Like, who's going to take that Nakobe Dean? Who's going to take that Nolan Smith role? You know what I mean? Like, who's going to be the guy that's going to lead these guys to a three-peat, right?
Yeah.
Someone needs to step up. I think that for my money, like, Nazir Stackhouse is the elder statesman along this defensive front, but I also think that our favorite, one of our favorite YouTubers, Top Billin, he's a big Smile Mondon fan.
Yeah.
But wasn't he on the injury list?
Also on the yeah.
Yeah.
But it sounds like he's been practicing. So I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. He's hopefully he didn't get the hopeful kiss of death. But that would be he would be my pick. Like those two of those two players, I feel like they'll be like the Jalen Carter, or Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean kind of match up between the linebackers and the defensive line.
I'll throw Jamon Dumas Johnson's hat in that arena.
Okay.
I do feel like a lot of times one of those middle linebackers, inside linebackers, tends to be calling the signals and kind of getting everyone set.
Right.
Like Nakobe used to do. So right. I can see that. JDJ, Smile, I think are great candidates. All those guys. Again, I'm excited about these guys we've got coming back. I'm excited. We should get to see a lot of new faces on Saturday. So
hopefully they won't have to yell at other players for being out of position. But should the occasion arise, I want my quarterback for the defense screaming at people to get back in line.
Yes, exactly. Agreed. All right. Let's see. For special teams. Not a whole lot there other than we'll get to find out who the kicker is, who the place kicker is. So we'll find that out for sure on Saturday, or who knows? We might not. It could be a kicking competition in this game too. We'll see. But one of the things I am interested to see is who is returning kicks. And a guy I didn't mention with the offense, and I'm going to mention him here, is a diminutive receiver, Mekhi Muse. I'm excited to see Muse. If you recall, he returned a kickoff for a touchdown in the spring game, but they didn't count it because it was a spring game and they weren't really returning kicks and they wanted the offense to start at the 20 every drive anyway. But he did it. And he is not big. Not a huge guy. And Kirby signaled him out. Kirby was on the College Game Day podcast this week. And he was one of the guys that he signaled out as having a really good fall camp. And he talked about that spring and the spring that he had, but he said it's carried into fall camp. So I'm interested to see Muse and especially in the return game. I'm curious to see if they throw him back there to return either kicks or punts. That's something I'll be watching for.
Is he gonna be like a Devin Hester type guy?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Do you remember from the spring game? He's small. He is not a tall guy, but he is fast. So I don't know. I'm excited to see him.
I'm excited. I would be very excited to see that portion of our game be a true threat.
Right. Yes. It's been a minute, right? When we haven't had a punt return for a touchdown in a while. Kearis was always so close. He would get so close.
Who would have been the last one that would have been in that home run threat special teams returner? Who's the most recent one? The one that comes to mind is Mikey Henderson for some reason for me.
Yes, so he came to mind. The one after him that comes to mind for me is the joystick.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So that's Isaiah McKenzie. So I don't know. There's probably been someone since him, but he was the one. To me, he was the last one that was truly electric, and every time he touched it, there was a chance. So, yeah, would love to see that come back.
I'll be excited for Muse. He's a Georgia boy. He's from Central Gwinnett High School.
Yeah,
5'8".
See, I was gonna say he's my height, so pretty close. Pretty close.
Just imagine Jim running a touchdown back with dreadlocks.
That would be a sight to see.
That's
Sorry,
great.
I lost it there for a second.
Well, speaking of special teams, we got Brett Thorson.
We got we
have the punter spot locked up, right?
Yes, that's right. What are we calling him? Or is he the Thunder from Down Under, or is he the Boomin' Onion? What are we calling Brett?
I personally like Thunder from Down Under.
It is good. I like it. Okay,
I just hope he has a better relationship with his quarterback this year. But hopefully he gets iced out just like just just like Stetson did.
the tweet it was after the Oregon game, right? He was like, apparently Stetson hates punters or something.
Stetson hates punters. Yeah.
Oh,
I've heard through the radar, or through the grapevine that that Beck also hates punters.
like it. I'm down with that. I'm good with that. All right, man. You ready to hit the listener questions?
Let's hit them, man. Let's hit them.
All right. So this season, the listener questions are brought to you by Working Web Media. So if you go check out the newly redesigned mygotapodcast.com, we've got a new website, and Working Web Media put that together for us. If you got a small business and you're looking to expand your online presence, be sure to reach out to Working Web Media. They would love to work with you. And you can head over to workingwebmedia.com/dogs. That's DAWGS, spelled the right way. And they will know that we sent them your way. So be sure to check them out. We're super pumped about our new website, and they would love to work with you as well. All right. So for the listener questions, JP, first up, we got Walt Dog NC. And something I didn't mention at the opening because I knew this was here and want to talk about it here. So he started off with RIP Sonny Seiler, DGD. So, Sonny Seiler, owner of all the UGGAs, brought us UGGA one. The thing that I've kind of been thinking about with this is like, we all know what it's like to lose a pet. And but we're talking about a man here that he and his wife gave a pet to all of us, right? I mean, everyone has such a great connection with UGGA. So RIP, definitely a legend. RIP to Sonny Seiler.
Yeah, no, it's definitely sad, but it's kind of one of those things where like I feel like we're all getting older, right? Like, you think about, I look back at seeing him on the sidelines, before his son took over, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you got Munson, Lawrence Smith's getting up in there in the age, you know what I mean? Like some of these Mount Rushmore of UGA personalities they're getting older, just like our parents are, right? So but it's definitely a sad situation. I think that comic, or not, I guess it's not a comic. I don't know what do you call it? Caricature? I don't know.
The thing I sent you today?
Yeah, the thing you sent today. Yeah, the artwork of him going into heaven and being surrounded by all his dogs and him saying, "I missed you too." Like, oh man, that's just perfect.
God, now I don't know if I'm gonna be able to keep talking. When I sent that to you guys today, I was like sitting at my desk. I saw that and I sent it to you guys. I was like, okay, now I'm sitting here like crying in the middle of the day because I saw this is pretty amazing. It was Dave Hellwig did the cartoon, I guess.
Cartoon, that's what it is. Yeah,
he did the cartoon. So shout out to Dave Hellwig. That was incredible. That was I thought that was perfect. So all right. So for the fun part from Walt Dog. He said, will one running back get more than 60 yards in the game? And he said, if Brock gets 2 TDs, is it too early to start the Bowers for Heisman hashtag? And then he said, you dudes do a great podcast. And by the way, who's borrowing the chalice this weekend? So I guess I would have to be the one to borrow the chalice because John will be there. So
you would have to be the one. Yes, sir.
Jason Hasty, don't worry. I'm not going to come take the chalice. All right. So do you see any of the backs getting more than 60 yards in this game? I think the running back kick by committee in a game like this is what kind of leads you to think maybe no, but I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, that's a good line, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking hard about it. Like, I would say no. I'm gonna say no.
Okay, I'm gonna say yes.
I say that because I feel like that. I don't know.
Can I give you my bold prediction?
I want the Cash Jones. I want the Cash Jones for Heisman.
Here's my bold prediction. It's going to happen because someone's going to rip off a long one. Somebody's going to have more than 60 on one carry.
I agree with that. I can get on board with that one.
So what do you think? Is it too early to start Bowers for Heisman if Brock gets 2 TDs this week?
That's what I was. If you truly want Brock to get the Heisman, right? Like he's gonna have to put up numbers in games like this.
Yeah.
So that's why I say, like, he's listed as preseason All-American. Can he, find that connection with Carson that he had with Stetson? Those kinds of things come to mind. The two. Wait, no, yeah, he would have to have big numbers in these games, right? So because you figure, like, once we get into the heart of the SEC schedule, yards and catches and touchdowns and things like that are going to be harder to come by, right? So at least from a big number standpoint, because think about what Caleb Williams did last year to win the Heisman, and what Bryce Young had to do to win the Heisman, and all these things, like, you know what I mean? Like, they had to have, those quarterbacks are putting up all these numbers these days. And so for a wide receiver to need to be there in New York, he's going to have to throw up some numbers.
True. Yeah.
I said wide receiver.
Well, I mean, whatever. Same thing. He's up for the Biletnikoff. We've established this last week.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's gonna have to do outrageous things, and they're gonna have to give him like a Heisman moment type thing with some kind of funky trick play, I think, too, at some point. So
yeah, he's gonna have to rush. He's gonna rush for one, throw for one. Like, he's gonna have to, like, Heinz Ward his way out there.
Yes, exactly. Agreed. All right, next up we've got Bobby Wilson. Bobby, he says, how long do you experts believe Carson will play, and how many touchdowns will he throw and or run in? And he said, I think he plays the first half. It only has 3 touchdowns. So first off, Bobby, thanks for referring to us as experts.
Questionable, debatable at best.
I mean,
I'll let you answer this one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see him playing beyond halftime. So I would agree with that. First half only. I mean, touchdowns. I mean, there's no telling. Like, it depends, right? Like, think back to when Stetson started against UAB. I mean, he had 5 touchdowns in the first half. I mean, it could be. What are we going to try to do? Are we trying to get him confidence? What does Bobo want to do with them? What does Kirby want to do with them? So we'll see. But yeah, I think first half sounds right. I'll go 4 touchdowns. I think 5 is like the record that everyone keeps tying. Has been tied by multiple people. So not quite that. I'll go with 4.
4 touchdowns in one half.
Yeah.
And over 60 yards rushing. Man, you're like,
60 yards rushing was for the whole game. Offensive explosion.
Right. Okay, fair enough. So here's my thing. I actually think that I'm actually erring on the side of he needs reps. He needs reps as QB1. So I actually think that he'll probably get pulled in the 3rd or 4th quarter. Okay. I have a feeling that they're going to want him solidified as the starter, and they're going to throw all the things at him to try to test him in a game that doesn't have consequences.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think they're going to open playbook to get sexy, all those kinds of things. I don't think they're going to have to, but yeah, I still think that they're going to try to open him up slowly, kind of like letting that Camus wine breathe,
right.
Whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as touchdowns go, I could see 4. Yeah. I'll go with 3. I'll go 3 just to differentiate us.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, James.
Because Cash Money Jones is going to be a Heisman candidate at the end of the
You're so excited for Cash Jones. Cash Money. All right, James Lawson 87. Get the starters out early. No injuries. Blah blah. That was in quotes. These are all givens going into a game like this. Oh, well, we already answered that. Give me some stat lines you want to see out of Carshon Beck. So I do like the thing. So we said 3 to 4 touchdowns. What do you think yardage wise, John? How many you think he's throwing for a lot in this?
I'd say 275 is probably a good number.
Okay. I'll go 276, and we're doing this prices right now.
Which talking about people that have passed away. We're getting old. Bob Barker passed away this week too. Jeez,
that is true.
I only say that because he died at the age of 99, just one penny shy of $1.
I don't know if you saw their the Shooter McGavin Twitter account. It's a great follow, by the way. If you don't follow,
It's a great follow. Yeah.
So he tweeted out the picture at the picture of the sky that Happy Gilmore is looking to at the end of the movie when it's, you know, Chubbs and the alligator and like Abraham Lincoln, and he added Bob Barker in the sky with them. It's pretty awesome. So that was a nice tribute. That was a nice touch. Let's see. Chad Jarvis, how long do the starters stay in, and will the stadium stay packed until the start of the fourth so we can see the cool light show we have so badly missed? So let's see. Starters, Dan, the starters are not going to stay in long. Although, John, you already said, you know, you think Carson could go into the third quarter and somewhere into the second half. But yeah, starters aren't going to stay long. You're going to see a lot. First off, we rotate a lot of guys anyways. So what does a starter really mean at Georgia for outside of quarterback? But we're going to see a lot of depth. So not very long. You'll start to see guys getting mixed in very early, I'll say.
Agreed.
But on the fans, I do think the lights is a reason to stick around. I know
for sure. I'm super jealous.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people. You want to get out of there. You want to get home, and I get it. And it's a holiday weekend. You know, folks have Monday off. I get that, but we haven't had one of these in a long time to see the light show. So I am looking forward to that for sure. So I'm staying. I mean, we stay to the end of like every game. So, but I would advise others too as well.
I'm in that same vein as well. If I were there, I would be staying to the end for the light show and for all the festivities. And I mean, you hear it on My God, a podcast at the beginning of this show, the Krypton fanfare and all that stuff. Yeah. So like, you know, these guys, you know, stick around for the end.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to miss Mekhi Muse late in the game, right? You got to stick around for that. Cash Jones could rip one off in the fourth quarter. You never know.
Exactly.
All right, 51-7 GATA. I don't know if we have not talked about this. I was kind of disappointed we didn't talk about it earlier, and I'm glad he asked this. What are y'all's thoughts on the new rules with the clock? And he said, I can see this leading to more upsets and also decreasing the amount of great endings. So to level set, the clock change, basically, it's going to be a running clock. So like, they had already changed it a little bit a few years ago where it used to be like incomplete pass, out of bounds, clock start, period. Now it was like it would start eventually after they reset the ball, etc. But now it's a running clock, except for the last 2 minutes. So you get the rules worked like the old way for the last 2 minutes of each half, but otherwise the clock runs, which is kind of annoying. And I probably missed that a little bit, but in general, the clock is going to be running a lot more. So they're shortening the games, basically.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this,
which kind of goes to the stat lines, right? Like that's going to impact stats down the road. So like, you know, if you're not stopping the clock every time you go out of bounds, like the last wide receiver to win the Heisman was Dante Smith, right? And look at the numbers that he put up. Like if he's running out of bounds, like that clock's ticking, that's game time, that snaps, that's going to make the spread offenses that are moving fast to try to move even faster, I feel like. And then I hate everything. I I don't know. I don't really know how else to describe it. To me, like the things that make college football are quickly evaporating, and it pisses me off that we're trying to like mess around with it, because that's one of the things that's special about college football, right? That incomplete pass, you know, you can't get up and run for the score. Like it sounds like we're trying to do things almost like the NFL. Oh, the 2-minute warning. It's the 2-minute warning, guys. Like now, Let's go back to the old way, because clearly it's more fun because we're saving it for the end.
Yeah. And I'll say so Kirby did talk about this when Greg and I saw him speak in Charlotte. And I'll say, like, the reason this is happening is because of playoff expansion. You are extending the season. The season is getting longer, and they've done research around the toll the body can take. And like, let's not forget, these are kids, you know, Stetson Bennett aside, Brent. Like these are, but these are kids. They're young student athletes, and it's a lot to ask of these guys. I know it's only a few teams that are going to play all those extra games, but it's a lot to put on them. And so they're putting things like this in place such that the team that plays in this expanded playoff and goes all the way to the end, they're not their snap count over a season isn't increasing much because of things like this, right? So that's why they're doing it. So if you're mad about this, it's coming from playoff expansion. Just FYI. Another reason to hate that, because I don't like that either. Get off my lawn.
Yeah, seriously. Let's contract.
Exactly. All right, Alex Garnto, who is more likely to get a carry from the running back spot on Saturday, Brock Bowers or Dillon Bell? Let's just pause there, which we didn't talk about that yet. I am like so excited by this concept of Dillon Bell playing running back.
That's true. We didn't talk about that from the running back conversation, but that did come up in the practice notes.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. The fact that Dillon Bell's been taking those snaps, I would say Dillon Bell is probably going to get more snaps than Bowers at running back.
I agree. Let's say this. Well, because I don't know. It is the kind of thing. I was like, do we give Bowers a carry in a game like this? I don't know. And he tends to get the end arounds, but we've heard rumors of him playing fullback in practice, which just gives me the warm and fuzzies. Like I love that. Brock Bowers a fullback gives me chills.
Out of the I formation, right? Yeah.
Correct. Ooh, I formation. Oh yes. Bubba was back. Man, too good.
I mean, the Dillon Bell, lining up at running back. Like all I have to say about that is that if in Kirby we trust, if you remember the Bobo days and the Wild Dog wasn't it during Bobo's time as offensive coordinator that the whole Wild Dog thing kind of came up like long ago and during the Rick years?
Yeah, I think that sounds right. Yeah.
I feel like Craig Lumpkin, like he would take snaps from in that Wild Dog looking So Crow, Isaiah Crowell would take snaps out of the Wild Dog, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I would say that Dillon Bell taking reps as running back is indicative of their plan to at least incorporate him in the running game and have him available as a wide receiver, and that would thusly, give us the potential for a replacement for Kenny McIntosh.
True. That's a great point. And I was talking to my dad about this the other day. My dad called me and we were just talking football, and I told him I think I'm getting way too excited about this Dillon Bell at running back thing. Because I was like getting all giddy. I'm like, because when we were talking about this recently, you and I, and we were talking about like all the injuries, and I was like, like we always find someone, like Georgia will find someone who can, carry the football. We're running back university. But this excites me. Like it just makes me think of, not to say that he's Hines Ward or anything, but it makes me think of like when Hines Ward moved to running back and then back to receiver, although he played quarterback that year too, but just stuff like that. Robert Edwards was a great back. He had switched from corner. So I don't know, this kind of stuff excites me because we've seen good things come from a shift like this in the past. So
I could be making this up, but did Dillon Bell play quarterback in high school as well?
I do believe that's true. I mean, generally, because a lot of these guys, they put the best athlete at quarterback, right? So
yeah,
I think that's accurate.
Maybe,
I saw that somewhere.
Maybe he's replacing who was it that threw the pass against Michigan? Was it A.D. Mitchell? I can't remember.
That was actually Kenny McIntosh threw it to A.D. Mitchell against Michigan. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
So he's the Kenny McIntosh replacement.
Exactly. Yeah.
I like it. Let's see. Oh, he had another part. Thoughts on Kendall Milton and Dejon Edwards being full go by South Carolina in week 3. I mean, I would say I'm if we're getting in the Kirby hopeful category, I'm more hopeful probably for Dejon, because like we saw, Kendall had the hamstring last year and it took him a while to get back. I mean, you don't know with hamstring injuries, they're tricky. So I'd put larger odds on Dejan, although I'm not going to count Kendall out, and I would love to see him there, but that's my thoughts.
I would say that Kendall Milton's injury is going to be so touch and go basically for every game this season, because that's part of the reason that I'm so like frustrated about that situation. Not just because it's Kendall like hurt again, like that aspect of it is certainly frustrating. I get it. These guys, they are under a lot of stress. If you hurt something, it changes how your body reacts on the field. Like we talked about it with Paul Muchnick, my PT friend that was PT at UGA for a while, on our Sanford preview last year. When your body has that kind of stress and that impact, and it has to readjust, all the other body parts are impacted, right? So if you tweak your hamstring on your right leg, then everything else on your left leg is overcompensating, right?
Right.
So for me, like that just means that he's had multiple of these on both legs, on both sides of his body, right? And it just means that just the sheer fact that it's a hamstring all by itself, those things are so tricky, right? He could tweak it just walking, right? Like you hear about guys that retweak their hamstrings over and over again. But what I'm worried about is that going to open him up for something else because he's overcompensating?
Yeah, no, that's a good call. Good call.
So as far as full go, I would say that my money would probably be more on Dejan Edwards being more full go than Kendall.
Yep, makes sense. I agree. Let's see. All school. Can anyone on the roster serve the Darnell Washington role from last year of an extra, faster, mobile offensive lineman who can catch passes?
Wasn't that Lucky?
Shocking. We agree, John. Lucky is the guy to me. Unfortunately, he's injured right now, but I think he is he's that guy to me. So
let's be honest. I don't think anybody can replace Washington, but if someone were, Lucky has that frame, right?
Right. Yep. And his dad was one of the Lucky triplets. And so I think his uncle was an offensive lineman at Georgia. So if I'm getting which Lucky triplet is his dad, right? Because now I'm being embarrassed. I could have gotten that wrong, but I'm pretty sure his uncle was the center.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. They were there when I was there. They may have graduated right before you got there, John. So yeah. Let's see. All School also said, which UGA player this year is going to be the most likely to hit you with the hard puck tactics? And he said, I've always heard bankrolls go straight for the assets. I'll hang up and listen. So first off, we always appreciate the old school sports talk radio show, hang up and listen, sign off. Always appreciated. But also All School was he was a big fan of last year's hype video. I actually sent him a DM when this year's came out. So All School, he said he enjoys it. So that made me happy. I was glad that he was pleased. He was one of the people I was trying to make sure it lived up for him. So, all right, John Michael D. Okay, here we go, John.
Well, did we answer the question? Which player this year is going to be?
Who's going to hit you with the hard punt tactics?
Who's going to hit you with the hard punt tactics? Yeah, is it Muse?
I was going to say JDJ as far as like actual hits.
Oh, actual hits. Okay.
For me, yeah.
Oh, let's see. It's actually Johnny
Aguero,
yeah.
Okay, and then I think you know what the right answer is, and I missed it. Bullard. He definitely hit CJ Stroud with a heart, or he hit. So I butchered that.
You butchered it.
He hit Harrison with a hard protect.
Yeah, Harrison. Yeah, exactly.
Too good. All I could see was Stroud throwing the ball high up in the air. Sorry, I got mixed up. All right, let's see. Okay, so here's what we were talking about earlier around the people want to know. So we got two questions about this. So John Michael D said, since y'all said any topics, going to need the most famous podcaster and John to break down what in the wide world of sports just happened to Ronald Acuna Jr. with the three fans on the field. And Gerald Lancaster asked a similar version. He just said, were y'all freaking out when Acuna was attacked?
Oh, man. So we were at the game. And I caught the tail end of it. I videoed like the tail end of it because it was going on for so long and everybody was laughing, thinking that it was funny. This guy like was just like fighting. It was just like I'd never seen anything like that. Usually, when you get taken out for going on the field, like they put you in handcuffs and off you go. But for whatever reason, security, which I'll use that word loosely at Coors Field. I don't know if they were Colorado Rocky Mountain High, but it was definitely loosey goosey with the security at that stadium.
Yeah.
It's funny, like it really is funny because my father-in-law had actually commented on this like long before that had happened. We both had noticed that there was only a handful of people on the field in between innings. And we were like, yeah, that's at Truist, it's like every like 10 feet, I feel like there's a security guard out there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen or been to the game, but like there's a security guard that basically sits in a seat. And as soon as the inning ends, they open a door, they lock it back, and then they run out onto the field and they stand there in between innings. And then obviously as soon as anything happens, they're like instantly on the field. But what happened with this instance, like one person came on the field and they hugged Ronald Acuna. And I guess Acuna was okay with it because he wasn't like running away or pushing him away. Like I would imagine that he probably read the body language that he was not a threat. But then for whatever reason, some guy came from behind. That's the only thing we were trying to figure out is where did the other guy come from? Because security was already there, but he came from behind Ronald Acuna. And I'm like, where did that even come from? So I still haven't figured out the physics on that.
Right.
But because he would have had to have dropped down from I guess like he would have had to have dropped down from the, from the wall or whatever.
Right.
But full transparency, we picked up at the tail end of it. If you haven't seen George Foster's video, that he retweeted a video from another account, but that was I watched that video, and that's what really happened. And I was shocked at how long they were on the field. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And the fact that guy got his hands on Acuna after the other guy was hugging him was just laughable from a security standpoint. Just absolutely embarrassing for Coors Field.
Yeah. That was crazy. That was nuts.
We didn't really get to see it because everybody in our section was like looking at the scoreboard. There was like, like one of those kiss cam type things or something like that going on that we were looking at. We were in left field. So everybody was kind of turned around to look up at the thing. And then all of a sudden everybody was like, oh, what's going on over there? And we turn around and look, and there's already cops and everything. They're pulling them off. So that was wild. I've never seen anything like that.
Well, since I made you table that conversation until now, I will say, or just seemed like it was an amazing trip. And I know it sounded like there were a ton of Braves fans there, right? And Georgia fans.
Yeah.
And I know you saw multiple Huggins out there as well. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we went for Carter's 12th birthday, and that's been like a tradition. Last year we went to St. Louis. This year we went to Coors Field, and we did the whole hiking thing, which, at full transparency, Carter was not super thrilled about, but we kind of made him go the first day. Went up to Rocky Mountain National Park. I had planned to go based off of Logan Booker. Shout out Logan Booker on his itinerary planning, but for whatever reason, the website that they said we had to have a reservation, and the website didn't say that, and so we showed up and didn't have a reservation to go to this particular section of the park, and so they didn't let us in. So it was in a lower elevation where we wanted to go. Bear Lake is the area that I'm talking about. The Huggins actually went there the day before, apparently. But anyway, we ended up going into the higher elevations, to the Continental Divide, which was basically significantly higher up. I think we got up to over 12,000 feet. And I have to say that low oxygen level is definitely a real thing. I can't imagine going even higher. The Colorado has like the 14,000 feet, like Mount Evans and Pikes Peak and those kinds of things. Those those higher elevations are legit. I was
Mm.
winded.
Really?
Yeah. There were sections that Carter couldn't actually make it up because he was so exhausted and tired. You know, he's got the heart condition, so like I tried to play it easy on that. Plus, he's got asthma, so
Gotcha.
his lungs are already struggling in general. But there were definitely some areas that were really cool. I'll post some more pictures. I think I posted a handful of pictures. I still was like kind of downloading the majesty and the beauty of that park. Then the next day I had business meetings, and then we went to the Braves game, man. That was really cool. We got to scooter over there. Carter really loves the scootering. And then we did the whole go into for batting practice, and he got a ball at batting practice.
Oh yeah.
And then during the game, he got a ball, and then they found a ball that was, I guess it was just like lying around somewhere, like, I don't know, from one of the adult leagues. So he walked out of there with 3 balls.
That's hilarious.
Which is just crazy. Then the next day we ended up, we were debating on, like I said, he's not really a huge hiker. Tried to convince him. There was no convincing. And so we ended up just doing a city tour on the scooters. He wanted to ride the scooters again. So we did a city tour of downtown. Ran into the Huggins at the Braves game. Like I said, from the moment we left Atlanta, from the moment we were at the gate, we were looking around, and I was like, I mean, there's nothing but Braves fans. Like, there's just Braves hats, Braves shirts, like everything.
Yeah.
And everywhere you looked, there was always a Braves on the streets. Like it's kind of like we were walking around, driving around, riding around. Hey, go Braves. And I saw some Georgia shirts too. Like, there was a lot of Georgia shirts. I didn't see any Georgia Tech shirts, but I saw a lot of Georgia shirts.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of Go Dogs. And they were all in the park too. Like, when we went to the park, there was Braves fans everywhere. And then when we went to the stadium for batting practice, we were just surrounded by Braves fans. Like, I mean, it was crazy. And the chop was loud and present always. It was crazy. But I got some feedback from some folks that are local there, and I think that this is probably their issue, is that there's just so many people that are not from Colorado that live in that area.
Yeah.
And so every team that comes to town, that's who they said it's like that for every team.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because everybody wants to go to Colorado, everybody wants to go to the mountains and all that kind of stuff. And so they do exactly what we did, is go to the game and then go see all the sites, right?
Yeah. That's cool.
But it was definitely cool. It's definitely a great thing. We actually had some dinner in Boulder, so we got to see a couple of the other areas as well.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. I haven't been to Boulder. I didn't go when we played at Colorado. I was supposed to go to the game, but we did end up not going kind of at the end. But I've been to Denver, but no sporting events. So
I tried to get Carter to go see. I was like, hey, do you want to go see Colorado's stadium and go say hey to Coach Prime? He's like, eh. He was like, eh.
Nice. Well played, Carter. Well played. Well, awesome. Well, good to get to that. Sorry, I made you table that, so I figured we could go back and get the full story within the listener questions.
No, it was great. Ran into the Huggins. Running into them was great. Joel, Hug Dog's brother, Hush Puppy. He's an F3 guy. He works out at I think it's over in Alpharetta. I can't remember. But he and I were going to meet up, but I guess that they did too much hiking the day before. So I ended up going, actually tried to get Carter up. We had all done all that hiking on Sunday, and then everybody was sore. They didn't want to come out. So I went out by myself early morning to see sunrise at Red Rocks. That was another thing that I ended up doing and visiting was seeing sunrise at Red Rocks. I was actually surprised at how many people were out there and how bright it was at 5:30 in the morning. And so I actually ended up like looking around, trying to scamper around to find a more secluded area, and I ended up finding a trail that I was by myself on because everybody was at Red Rocks. So
nice.
Tried to find a little off the beaten path, a little higher up. But it was beautiful out there. It was great.
That's nice. All right, let's see. Fletcher Proctor. Favorite school featuring a name. UT Martin is good, but Stephen F. Austin, the Stone Colds, Sam Houston, Louisiana Monroe are better. Also, seeing as how I'll table this part. All right, so you got a favorite school with a name in it? I've got one. My favorite.
A favorite school with a name in it.
Like, I always just think that Robert Morris is hilarious. That's the name of the school. I don't know that they play football,
Okay.
but like when they make the NCAA tournament, it always makes me laugh.
Oh man, I guess the first thing that comes to mind is Oral Roberts.
That's another good one. Yes. Okay,
That's-
we
that's-
like schools with the name Robert. You know why that is, John?
Robert
I do know.
Beal.
I knew it was coming.
Sorry.
You rope-a-doped me.
Sorry. Okay, so
Sam
he
Houston's
said,
a good one. Sam Houston's a good one.
all right, so here's a shout out to you from Fletcher. He said, also, seeing as how I'm teaching poetry right now to fourth graders, I can say that I hate poetry and I don't want Bama in the SEC championship game for poetic reasons. So he agrees with you, John.
Yeah, seriously. Screw Alabama.
Okay, I was wrong.
I would love for them to just never win anything ever again.
Don't listen to me. I'm done. Okay. Let's see. Brett Belding. How amazing will it be to see Light Up Sanford in our own stadium for the first time in 713 days? That is
Wow.
crazy.
That is crazy.
So
I mean, if you have any pull in the athletic department, they need that stat.
yeah, seriously. Yes, for real. I'll say, Brett, if it's any indication of how excited I'm about it, I'm wearing my Light Up Sanford t-shirt as we're recording this because I'm excited to have that come back. I was at the Notre Dame game. It was the first time it ever happened with all not the first time with the, doing the phones and everything, but the first time with the red lights, all the lights installed and everything. And I'm excited. I'm pumped. It's ridiculous. It should happen more often.
Yeah, I agreed.
And then Brett said, we've heard very little about place kicker. What is the outlook for the position? So it seems to be between Jared Zirkle and Peyton Woodring. I expect we will see both of them on Saturday. I haven't heard any kind of announcement on anything being settled. Zirkle's been here for a while. Woodring is a freshman, but he's a highly touted kicker. So we'll see. Something to watch for sure.
One thing that you did not note about Saturday is the swirling winds potential.
What hurricane season?
No, it's not going to be. Apparently, the forecast is 1 mile per hour.
Okay, nice. That's a Jacksonville problem.
Yeah.
Mentioned earlier, our buddy Dwight. Dwight checks in first touchdown runner pass.
I'm going to go with run.
Okay, I'll go pass to disagree. Total touchdowns scored by the Dogs. Well, maybe we should just do math on our final predictions to get to that. Because I don't know. I'm not sure yet.
We'll come back to that. No math.
And then, and what is the UT Martin mascot? Which we hit that in the JP's Fun Facts earlier. But it's the Skyhawks.
Yes, it's the Skyhawks, and I need to correct myself. Skyhawks, the Sky Pilots are what they were known for. That's what the preachers were called in those days. But they called them Skyhawks. It was kind of like a play on the whole deal. Got
it. All right. Last but not least, friend of the show, Tim Riley, who still needs a new name.
He's never going to get one. It's just Tim Riley now.
How many skill players will have 100 plus yards and who? That's a good one because that's going to be, I don't know, because I feel like we're going to spread the ball around so much that I don't know.
You don't think so?
I'd say the over under at 1.5 with Brock Bowers being the one.
I mean, I need Brock Bowers to have over 100 yards in every single game for him to have any chance at winning the Biletnikoff.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to throw in Mekhi Muse just for fun.
And there we go. I like that. Pocket wide receiver.
Yeah. All right, John. Are you ready?
Is this it?
It is time for Coach Trillbill's over unders UT Martin edition. All right, John, who's going to go first? Who goes first today? Because I don't remember where we were.
As the winner of last season, right?
Oh, brutal. Okay. You get to pick then. Then you get to pick.
If I get to pick, I am going to go with. I'll let you go first.
I feel like you just did some math to figure that out, but I'm not sure what that means. All right, over under. Starting off with the offense, over under 300 yards passing for the Georgia offense. I'm going to go over.
Ooh, I'm going to go under.
All right, your turn. Over under 6.5 total touchdowns for the Georgia offense.
I'm going to go over.
I'm going to go under. And then my turn. I do like this one. Over under 2.5 quarterbacks to play. I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna go over.
Based on my math on the previous one, I'm gonna go over.
Okay. Over. All right. On to the defense. Your turn. Over under 1.5 forced turnovers.
I'll go under.
I mean, you get a pick, you get a fumble. All right, I'm gonna go over. I'm taking a risk this year because I'm gonna beat you this year, John.
Taking risks.
All right. Over under 3.5 sacks for the Georgia defense. They throw the ball a lot. I'm gonna go over.
I'll go over on that one as well.
All right, and then back to you. Over under 1.5 touchdowns allowed for the Georgia defense.
I'm gonna go over. Those would be some garbage time.
Okay. I'll go under. And then special teams, Georgia field goals attempted, over under 2.5.
I have a feeling that they're gonna do some strategery to get each kicker some opportunities, so I'll go over.
Okay. I like that. Ooh, that's way too logical. I'm gonna go over as well because that makes way too much sense. Okay,
I shouldn't have divulged my reasoning until after you
answered. You give her the number and then come back around to the reason later.
If I lose this on one, I'm gonna beat myself up.
I'm still waiting for you to lose because of one like the next one. Miscellaneous. UGA has a soft schedule. Comments on Twitter. Over under 100.
Over.
Over.
Smash that over.
That was your perfect opportunity to say push, John. The correct answer was push.
He did. Push. Exactly.
Over. It's obviously over. Slam the over. So awesome. Thanks, Coach Trillbill. Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for sticking with us for another season and giving us the over-unders. All right, John, as we move into the predictions for this game, last I checked, there is no line. There are no lines on this game.
I'm about to say the OddsShark link looks a little funky.
OddsShark link is empty. CBC R2 Sam doesn't have Georgia on there. Dog Quant, I know you listen. Like, come on, you can't help us with the predictions. Like, I get it. Yeah, so I've got nothing other than. So the funny thing is, we always look at OddsShark. If you look at the OddsShark, it says that Georgia will win and cover, but there's no line. So I thought that was kind of funny.
They did have a predicted score, I think, right?
Did they? I don't know. Last time I looked at it, I didn't even see that.
There is a predicted score.
Ooh, it's been updated. The
score on OddsShark is 21 to 40. Well, 20.9 to 44.6.
Oh, okay. So that's been updated, but there's still no spread.
I really don't understand how they're arriving at that math because there's no like you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, okay. So I don't know. I mean, again, it's like we've talked about. I mean, this is one of those games. FCS opponent, classic, season opener. We're just thankful that it's not at noon. Get out of there, stay healthy, play the young pups, and dominate. I'm going to go Georgia 48-3.
48-3.
Mhm.
Wow. That would be nice. That would be a nice line. I'm gonna go 48. I'll go 48-12.
Okay. It doesn't match up with any of your over-unders, but I like it. It's called hedging your bets.
Oh yeah, I like it.
Love it. Well, the Dogs will be back in Sanford Stadium on Saturday. I'll be there. You won't. John, this is where I got to remind you. I know you're home with the kids this weekend. But you just got to remember to go for your run on Saturday morning.
That's right. I actually got some new shoes, so I'm geared up for it.
Okay. Nice. So yeah,
I will be able to do the run though. It's definitely in the cards.
And you got plenty of time with the 6 o'clock kickoff. You got plenty of time to work that into the day. So
this is true. This is very true. I usually like to do it before everybody wakes up, but yeah. So we talked about what you've got going on. I know. I think we are going to be at Lake Hartwell, so we'll be on the lake with Fripp Dog and my sister and family. Be down there for the weekend, and then some of us will head over to the game. Like I said, Lily says she wants to go. We'll see if. How far of a drive is that from where you guys are at? I don't even know. From
Hartwell to there. It's over an hour, like maybe like hour and 15.
So it's about how far it is for me to get over there, roughly.
Yeah, it's not bad. And like there's multiple ways we can go. Like sometimes we just go down 85, sometimes we take back roads. We probably take back roads.
I like going up 85 because I hate going 316.
Yeah. But being north and coming south, sometimes you can take other ways from
where
we're at on Hartwell. So yeah,
it has to be said, 316 is terrible.
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. I'm looking forward to being in Georgia for the weekend and picking up, loading up on Creature Comforts and bringing it back home, stocking up for the season. Because I like to do that.
No beers or no bourbons.
Well, so there is. So I'm going to stop somewhere. I probably should go and like stop somewhere in Athens. So there's a package store, like off the exit that we get off when we go to Hartwell, and like they've got Creature Comforts, and they've got pretty good bourbon selection. So I'll definitely stop there on our way in on Saturday.
You got to take advantage of the no government. The government's not messing with your bourbon supply.
I know, it's still so brutal here. I never see anything.
I mean, in some ways, I feel like that's got to be somewhat liberating, like because then I don't have to worry about asking for it every time.
Yeah, like if they have
special
you
bottles.
Can see it. If they have it, you can see it. That is the nice thing. But like they just
allegedly, if they have it, you can see it.
Right. Yeah. Now that it has seems to be true from what I can tell.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I'm excited to do that. I don't know. Maybe get on the water, do some wakeboarding, this weekend. On top of that, so
don't hurt yourself now.
No. I
don't want a Kirby getting up on the presser and being like, Jim Wood's hopeful. We're hopeful he's going to be back.
I'm way more low key on the wakeboard these days as opposed to back today. I don't try the crazy things anymore.
You're not going to go out and make a rad video on the water, are you?
No, not going to do that. Although I do enjoy there's some pretty amazing wakeboarding reels on Instagram. If you ever want to go looking for that, a lot of great content there. I have a friend that her sister married an old friend. Her sister married a guy that his like job is like he does like jet skis, like the stand-up jet skis, like tricks and stuff like that. Like kid is legit on the jet skis. Really?
Yeah, so he really is like living out rad on the water.
Look, if you haven't seen Rad, it's an amazing BMX movie from the 80s. Highly recommend. So, and you can hear it reviewed on Will Leach's movie review podcast because I requested that once and they did it. Good times. All right. What else? You going to be watching anything else this weekend? We got like Florida, Utah is Thursday night, right?
Florida, Utah. Yeah, that's definitely going to be one. Got to watch. I mean, we have to watch Florida get their first L, right?
That's right. Yeah. The first L for Florida this season.
Florida. Yeah.
You got that going.
What are the games? Is the Irish game on? The Georgia Tech.
Yeah,
no. Georgia Tech's in 24. I totally screwed that up. But is there another Irish game or no?
Oh, that was last weekend. There was Notre Dame Navy that already happened.
Is it the only one?
I don't. As far as I know, Tech is playing Louisville in Atlanta on Friday.
There we go.
Which is weird. So I don't really get that.
But that's a game that is it's not like a Chick-fil-A kickoff. It just is Georgia Tech's home game in Mercedes-Benz.
I think that's right. I think that's what I heard.
Which just seems weird. Like, hey, we can't fill up our stadium, so let's go to an even bigger stadium, right? Or
right.
Is it?
Right. I know we do have we've got two things I want to call out. One, seems random, but Mercer at Ole Miss. So shout out to Hunter for Ole Miss, but also with Mercer.
Don't you have a friend or something? Or?
Yeah, so I know we've mentioned my friend Otis, who went to South Carolina. His son, Kendall Harris, is a freshman receiver at Mercer. So shout out Kendall. So sorry, Hunter. But you got Rice at Texas. So you got JT Daniels, that beautiful man, going up against Texas. And then the other one, I think that the big one to watch is LSU Florida State. So.
Oh wait, the beautiful man JT Daniels, he could potentially take down Texas.
Exactly. Yes.
I like that. I like that line. That's at 3:30 though. Yeah. Let's see.
North Carolina, South Carolina in Charlotte, Saturday night. But we'll be playing. But yeah, no, the LSU Florida State is Sunday. So with the extended weekend, you got a Sunday night game, LSU Florida State. LSU number 5, Florida State number 8, 7:30 kickoff on ABC. So that's a big one.
That'll be fun. We'll see what LSU is made of. I saw someone posted something about how Florida State, maybe it was Marler, that Florida State has like an insane amount of like returning talent. They have like a ton of redshirt seniors, a ton of like returning snaps, like all the stuff, like basically talking about hyping up how big Florida State's team could potentially be with experience, which, as we know in the college game, is a pretty big deal. I just noticed Clemson's playing Duke. What is it with the North and South Carolina teams? Do they just play each other on week 1? Like, what's going on with that?
I don't know. I live in North Carolina, but I don't know the answer to the question.
That just seems weird. Like North Carolina playing South Carolina, Clemson's playing Duke. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, it is weird. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just looking forward to it. College football is back. Get to see the Dogs Saturday night. Hopefully looking forward to getting to see some folks in Athens on Saturday. Gonna try to stop by Greg's Tailgate, try to stop by and see Hug Dog, and meet up with some other folks. So looking forward to it, man.
Yes. I am gonna be living vicariously through you. So take pictures and share along.
Yes, I will. I will. I always do.
Cool, man. Well, this is fun. Let's get back in we got our tune-up, our couple tune-ups here, and then we get the meat of the SEC schedule coming up. But let's kick the tires and light the fires. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.